Okay, my channel. Where's my channel? That's my home. And here we are. Good morning. This is Chris 24NAB. It's 20 to 9 in the morning here in Ashington, Northumberland, and we're just about to join the Aussie Pub Net. The pub net, sorry. Did I say a hub net? I meant the pub net, but you know what I mean. Right, okay. Where are we? Let's look at my home and see where we're going. Notifications, we have got, not that. No, right, okay, let's have a look. This is hot. Right, there's my home. Come on. Thank you. Oh, where's my channel? There's my videos. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. But live content. Here we go. Right, I'm live. Nobody viewing yet. Let's give somebody a shout.
Talk group VK4OZHUB.
Yeah, g'day Mark. This is Nick Cock. Yeah, that often happens with those nasty blues. Well, we're on the sort of on the other side of summer, so we're heading into
good. We're connected to the Aussie Pub Net.
So personally,
bear with me while I disappear below my desk to connect up my other microphone so we can actually hear something.
Something going around. I'm sure there always is, and there's always new bugs now that they don't know what they are. Anyway, sound okay, so that's the main thing. Your mic gain's a little low. Your audio's a bit low. I don't know. I can't remember what you're using. Maybe you can step up the audio a little bit there, Mark. You're just a touch low. Just going to wind the volume up a little bit to hear there, over. Yeah, we can plug in. Like this, that might be better. Yeah, when you said that might be better, that was definitely louder. Yeah, that's all it needs. Oh, I'm glad you're on the mend, as we say anyway. That's good. So, we missed you last week, especially in the chat there. All right. Well, what have we got left? We've got some time left for a bit of a chat there. That was Mark came 7th VOP from Las Vegas. I know that because I recognise
it's not very loud, is it?
We can actually use our call signs, Mark. We're trying to be like secretive chat. Anybody else want to check in? Glenn, VK4NGA, running early check-ins for the Aussie Pub Net.
Victor Kilo 2, Echo X-ray today there, Glenn.
T4NAB, a good morning for me.
VK3FWR, Fox Whiskey Radio. G'day, Glenn. Just a check-in and a check-out from me.
Like Bravo 5.
All right. Well, we had a bit of a rush then. Thanks, guys. So we had VK2EX. Paul, g'day, Paul. Good to hear from you. We had G4NAB. Chris, I want to ask you a question in a moment. Good morning to you, and thank you again so much for the SvxLink. We are loving it, and that QSO app is just amazing. And also, we had Fred, VK3FWR, checked in out. Go, Fred. Good to hear from you, mate. Sounding good. Don't touch a thing. Don't change any dials. Don't adjust anything. Sounds great. Chris, if I record a video and people are going to want a link to download the YouTube video, just a little one, just sort of showing my take on the SvxLink app. If I record a video and maybe in the comments I can put in some details about how to get the app at the moment and also how to get it registered. So if you want to talk about it on there, that's fine. I can exchange an email with you. I just want to put a couple of links in there so when the video goes up, it's kind of all there. Chris, over to you. Hang on. G4NAB, VK4NGA.
Yes, okay, Glenn. Very good morning to everybody, and to those who are new joinees with the SvxLink app. Just to let you know, you are now live on YouTube. The link for my YouTube is through my QRZ page, G4NAB, and we are SvxLink and the VK4OZHUB, the Aussie Pub Net. You are live on YouTube, so I'll go through some of those things for you so everybody can get the same information. You will see up in front of me is first of all our chat and we've got the UK-wide SvxLink node monitor. Now I can't continue without saying first of all a tremendous and heartfelt thanks to Tobias Blomberg, Sierra Mike 0 SVX, without whom this project would never got off the ground. It's been in continuous development and I've been working with it since 2013 with repeater links and are now ultimately the talk group management of the system. There are two aspects, of course. There's the SvxLink image for the Raspberry Pi, but the one you're asking for, the SvxLink, I am not responsible for the app. However good it is, it's brilliant. And I am actually issuing the management of it because it's good to have someone with a finger on the pulse, so to speak. I'll just take a break if I may and reset our timer. I'm working on a UHF repeater running SvxLink at the moment, and we are connected via a rather complicated setup for All-Star links, which form talk groups at our side. So the SvxLink app is downloadable from qsolink.webstrbordeaux.fr. This is run by Cedric in France. So I'm not responsible for the app whatsoever, but it's a very clever app. It can actually connect to multiple SVX reflectors. But I've taken on board the management mainly because each connection requires a password from my point of view. And there was a question posed by a VK3. I've just replied to him by email. Why the -T suffix on the call sign when I've issued it? It's because if you want to have an app later, a proper SvxLink node later, you can't use -T because it won't look right in the app, in the SvxLink. So without the -T, it's an entirely different password and it looks better. So you can see on the left hand side of my screen, those who are going to watch my YouTube, that all the call signs are on the left and a list of talk groups that they monitor. So any questions supplemental to that, Glenn? I'd be only pleased to answer. G4NAB.
Well, thanks, Chris. All the early birds on the net got to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, as we say, as they are saying. Thank you very much, Chris. Yeah, so when I did the video, I've already recorded a video, but I'm not happy with it. I'm going to do it again. When I did the video, I'll put the download link in the video description on YouTube. For the registration process and password process, how should I put that on YouTube as a link? I don't necessarily want to put your email address in there unless you're okay with that there, over.
Yeah, my email address is on the QRZ page anyway, so it's not an issue. What will change, depending on whether there's anybody in the US listening at the moment, is that the URL to connect to the reflector is different for the North America reflector. But we also don't use the standard port number, but I prefer to give those independently on the reply when I reply to people. When people send in an email to me asking for a link to SvxLink, please make it clear whether you want to use QSO-Link or the SvxLink node software, because that will impinge on which call sign I'll give you. If you want both, no problem, I can do both. So there you go, G4NAB.
Thanks, Chris. All questions answered. John, VK4OZHUB, just has a comment for you there. Over to you there, John.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. And g'day, Chris. Nice to meet you, and thanks for what you're doing. And setting it all up. And I installed it today, and it didn't work. I checked it half a dozen times. It keeps coming up. It connects, and it goes green. Then it disappears. And then I went over to the server side of it, and it said anti-ban 25 seconds, something P, and then the rest of the sentence wasn't there. So do you have any ideas? And yes, I have checked the password, I've checked the login, I've checked everything, I've reloaded it again, and it still won't work, Chris. Over.
Yes, okay, that sounds very much like internet latency, I'm afraid. And you may even have a firewall issue. I've not any real experience, as I say, with the app. I've got it. I only downloaded it because I felt I needed to check it out. I don't use it because of my RF connections with SvxLink. But all I can say is that yes, it does work. I wouldn't say that the app is perfect, because it takes a bit of effort to work around the options, and of course you have to then program a side button to make a PTT. So effectively you've got a mobile phone walkie-talkie. As for the connection, I'm sorry, I can't help you directly. If it's a query relating to the app, then go back to Cedric in France, G4NAB.
Yeah, okay. Well, so the latency was up around 1200, so maybe that's what the issue is, because it connects, I can see it connecting, then it disconnects, and I get this timeout thing. Well, not timeout, it says anti-ban, wait 25 seconds or something, I don't know. Anyway, but it didn't have the whole sentence in the display, so. Anyway, okay, it is what it is. Thanks, Chris. All right, back to you, Glenn, VK4OZHUB.
VK4NGA back. Thank you very much, Chris. Lovely to have you along as always, and if you can stick around for the whole net, that'll be wonderful, but if you can't, I understand. It's Friday morning now, probably got things to do. But good to have you in the log, and good to hear you on the microphone. And yeah, there's a lot to know about SvxLink, us Australians. We're new to it, as many people are, but doesn't mean we can't grab it and run with it, that's for sure. So I'm pretty keen to put one of my all-star nodes on it, but I'm a bit time for at the moment. I've got a lot of things on the go, so that's one of those jobs on the whiteboard, and it's not at the top at the moment, but I'm definitely going to give that a go. I'd love to have a node dedicated to SvxLink as well as all-star. All right, thanks again, Chris. Much appreciated for all that you're doing, and of course, big thank you to Tobias SM0 SVX, as you mentioned, without him and his work, and of course the team, including yourself, Chris, that wouldn't happen. So that's exactly what it takes. It takes a team to takes an idea first, and then it takes the team to push it forward. So thanks for handling the UK side. It's absolutely fantastic. All right, with that, I'm going to reopen the floor for be the time.
VK4NGA, VK4AVN. As you know, I've already checked in, but I'm just letting you know, Glenn, because I know you're a bit stressed about it all, mate, that that bus made it onto the back of the flatbed safely, and it got sent on its way, mate, so I just thought I'd put your mind at ease there. VK4NGA and VK4AVN.
Oh, thanks, Alan. Yeah, I feel much better now hearing that. Nothing like a bust off the edge of the truck. Lucky you were there to supervise, that's all I can say. You have to get a shirt with supervisor written on it. Actually, after that phone call, I did get online and I found some really good tech support.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Radio t-shirt, but really good t-shirt. Stuff that old guys shouldn't be wearing. But hey, it doesn't matter. Yeah, thanks for that news snippet, Al. Appreciate that. All right, Chris. Look, if you're not running Ham Live, then you're really missing out, especially tonight. Chris, G4NAB just put up the SvxLink download app. Download link to the app. So, Mark KM7BAB. He's up to no good on Ham Live already. Oh dear, and the Pub Net hasn't even started. We got 3 minutes to go. Anybody else wanted to check in? You got 3 minutes to do it. Then the net starts, and of course you can check in after the net as well. It's Glenn, VK4NGA, running early check-in.
VK4NGA, this is VK4 Sierra Echo Delta. I don't know if I'm going to be around. I'm going to be in and out doing stuff, so put me in for IO, but I will be listening.
VK3 Delta Mike Juliet, just a chicken tonight, thanks Glenn. And a check-in.
And I don't know if I got stumped on them. VK4NGA, VK4SED, just the IO working around here.
Okay, we had a bit of a pile up. How good is that? So we had VK3DMJ checking in. G'day Dave, good to hear from you. Darren K4XC checked in. Good to hear from you, Darren. And as well, let me just check. We have another station come in very first station came in, I believe, on the Sydney repeater. Who was that? I didn't catch the call from.
Mike, Bravo 5, Hotel, Tango, repeater.
I didn't hear my call sign called, so maybe it was me, VK4SED, Glenn.
Oh, g'day, Mike. I did hear. Sorry, mate. In that rush, I didn't actually jot you down. So VK4SED checked in and out. G'day, Mike. Thanks for the email, mate. I'll definitely catch up with you at Redfest. I'm sure you'll be there. So yeah, of course you'll be working, but at least we can get maybe 10-15 minute chat before we have to go. Catch up with you then. All right, we're nearly ready. We got like 1 minute to go. Anybody I miss or anybody want to check in? Please call me.
Bravo 5, Hotel, Tango, repeater.
I'm sorry, just checking in on RF and saying good day to Chris and Paul, VK4.
John, VK4OZHUB. Yep, thanks for checking in. You're on the list quite long. You're in. All noted. All right, well, it's on 7 o'clock, so guess what? The Aussie Pub is... So, welcome to this Friday night edition of the Aussie Pub Net. Grab your favourite brew and share. This could go for a while. So you've got Glenn, VK4NGA. I'll be in that tonight's in control for at least the first half hour, and then after that we'll see who's available. Also, big thanks to our admin team who do a lot of stuff, many tasks in the background. So, logging on hand, live, social media posts, plenty for CGQ's got live stream running on YouTube, and Chris over in the UK also got on his website live stream running. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Just reset. All right. Where do we get to? Tonight's topic for round one is amateur radio and VoIP, voice over IP. Now, that can take in many things. For example, I'm running a complete voice over IP system tonight. I do not have RF. Well, I do have RF, but I'm not using it to talk to you just right now. So, anything voice over IP related is the topic tonight, which includes VoIP phones. If you're on Hamshack hotline, hands over IP, Hamshack hotline closed. So hands over IP or any others, so that's the topic tonight. So, and as I mentioned, we've got the likely up. If you want to see that, just go on YouTube to you'll find it. The Aussie Pub Net's run on also known as 61624 every Friday night. Can be accessed in many ways. To find out, go to our official website, VK4OZHUB.com.au for more info on that. And of course, if you haven't already, then get on to the All-Star Users Australia and the Aussie Pub Net Facebook groups and tell your mates about those. People to join, find out what we do and how we do it and when we do it. Big thanks to James and all concerned at VK44.net who hosts VK4OZHUB on that survey. Also Lee from VKdirect.com.au for hosting our official website for free. That's a great deal, I reckon. Also to John, Robert and everybody in the ANZL network for their connection. We appreciate that. I'll just reset. And if you've been listening for a while, you would have heard Chris G4NAB. Thank you, Chris, and to everybody involved in SvxLink for connecting us into the system. We very much appreciate that, and we look forward to a very, very nice relationship between VK4OZHUB and SvxLink. So you see the SvX on the VK4OZHUB dashboard, which is posted on VK44.net. So if you haven't looked at the dashboard, go to the website, find the dashboard page, click on the dashboard, look at the dashboard. And that runs for 2 rounds. Round 1 down topic round, round 2 down 7-3. That topic round goes for a very long time, if that's okay. This is not a short net. This is a pub net. We sit around the pub, we drink, we chat, we drink a bit more, we chat a bit more. So this is very much a bit like a podcast, on YouTube, except we're all the podcasters, so we're all interviewing everybody else. That didn't really come out right, but anyway, you get the idea. Round 2 is our 7-3 round. If you stick around long enough, you'll hear that. Big welcome to all the listeners. Don't forget it's on Ham Live as well. It runs alongside the net for chat, photo and info sharing. It's a very good experience. Adds another dimension to the already fantastic Aussie Pub Net. I'll just reset. Of course, if you're having a drink tonight, doesn't matter what you're drinking, you could be having your favourite chalky milk or Milo, or you could be drinking like me, water. But I'm drinking not just normal.
Oh, drop the phone, radio.
Stuff. So it's the Woodford tap. I call it the WT. When I'm at home, it's the BT, the beer water tap.
I just dropped your radio.
I reckon the WT, but
Where that's coming from?
it's just above room temperature. It's kind of coolish, but it's not cold. So it's just you're welcome to check in and out, get your call the log and say good day to us, or stay for round one. If you can only do that, that's good, or stay for the whole net. Woohoo! That's even better. So up to you. Just let us know throughout the net and we'll make some adjustments accordingly. Don't forget to leave a break of about 4 seconds between overs. Don't let the whole system reset on all the nodes, all the repeaters, all the hotspot devices, the SvxLink, the handheld link, and I can just go on and on. You get the idea. If we don't leave breaks, we'll time out. Speaking of time out, the hub has a timeout timer of 4 minutes, so just be aware of that. And speaking of that, where I'm up to in minutes on the timer. Not too bad. All right. Clicking the wrong button. Where am I? All right. All right, let's reset. And you can double on OzHUB, so just be aware of that. So we often get doubles, but we usually can pick out who's who and who said what. All right, I'm going to call for any further check-ins, and then I'll see if anybody wants to be bumped up the list. We do this every Friday night. So if you want to depart early, or you want to go dinner, or whatever the reason, just hold fire on that. Don't tell me yet, because I'm going to call for further check-ins. You've got Glenn, VK4OZHUB, and you are on the Aussie Pub Net, so you're in the right place at the right time. If you'd like to check in and you haven't already, please call now.
VK5 Alpha Mike Hotel. Good afternoon.
G'day Ross, you're already checked in, mate, because as soon as you logged into Ham Live, you got auto checked in. Alright, I'm going to read the check-in list. So we have 25 at the beginning of the net. How good is that? So this is the way to run it properly. Outside, we know how to do it. So yeah. No, we're not the only one. So you got yours truly, Glenn, VK4NGA, VK2DY, VK4CGQ, VK4IKZ, VK7DG, VK3MGF, VK5TRM, G4NAB, VK4DAT, VK4ABN, KM7BOP, VK2BRJ, VK2EX, VK2HAO, VK4BNT, VK3BNJ, VK4SC, VK5AMA, VK3BCI, VK4AHC. They're all the active stations, and checked in and out of VK5AR, VK2WP, VK3VK4SED. Did I miss anybody, or is there any further check-ins before we get going? It's Glenn, VK4OZHUB. Go ahead.
VK4AHA.
I've switched over from my UHF node to VHF because the strange interference I was getting over in the repeater channel.
That's really bad. It's really bad. Maybe you should apply for that call sign, Ross. What's it called, Ross? 5AMH. I called him as a 4. Geez. We need a new net controller. If you want the job, you can have it, guys.
VK2.
I'm happy to run the net, and as is the rest of the team. Do a cracker of a job. All right, we're all checked in. We're locked and loaded. Let's start the Aussie Pub Net. So tonight's topic is all about voice over IP. So you can talk about whatever VoIP systems that you use for ham radio, whether it be a VoIP phone on one of the networks or something entirely different. So let's talk about VoIP and how it operates in ham radio in your shack. So first up is Robert, VK2DY. Oh, you there, Robert, VK2DY and the Aussie Pub Net, VK4NGA. Go ahead.
VK4NGA, VK2DY, Robert in Northwestern Sydney, where it's actually feeling pretty cold. It's 18 degrees at the moment. That feels so cold. But it is autumn. Anyway, thank you for the net. I'm trying to quite get my head around what is the topic exactly. I'm assuming that you're not referring to things like D-Star and DMR, which are sort of kind of white. But anyway, I'm assuming you're referring to things like ham over IP, which I do have. I have it set up on all of my computers. I use a program called VoIP. I have it set up on my phone and on my computers, a couple computers, and a couple of others. I'm just about to redo an old Atom-based netbook that I want to reprogram as an Android device. It should be functionally touch-free, so it should be functional as an Android device. Well, I tried playing with some of the other VoIP applications on that. I haven't really quite worked it out yet, but it's just way too slow for Windows. So I can get Windows off of it and put Android or some sort of Android-like operating system on it. Trying to think exactly what else I use besides hams over IP. All-Star, but that's really SvxLink, but I don't know if IP or not. I avoid, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to categorize things, and I'm having difficulty categorizing what is voice and what is just internet radio. I'm not saying the line that I tried to divide there, so I'm going to return it to you. VK2DY. Back to that.
VK2DY and the Aussie Pub Net, VK4NGA returning. Thanks, Robert. Yeah, I should have probably clarified that, but yeah, like your Shark M1KE, that's voice over IP. Yeah, just well, I mean, many of the apps that we use, SvxLink, if you use the Echo app on your phone or on an Android device or on a POC radio, so yeah, all that kind of stuff. So it takes in pretty much anything that you think might be voice over IP, including
November, Alpha,
things like DB switch, network radios, all that kind of stuff. So kind of non-RF systems is really the discussion point tonight, I suppose. So because everything non-RF is really just at the end of the day voice over IP. Whether it be any of the modes, it still is voice over IP becomes over IP. So yeah, not to be traditional in widespread topic than that. So a little bit tricky because many of us have not dipped our toes in those waters, but many have. So the idea of bringing it up on the net is to discuss it and maybe some people that have used it successfully can say, well, have you tried this or tried this? So yeah, it's a bit of a round table on that. Thank you, Robert. I forgot. I mentioned it earlier that I was going to invite any stations that want to be bumped up the list, and then I forgot about it. So I'm going to do it now. So if you want to be bumped up the list, although we've already had Robert in position number 1, he's on pole on the racetrack. If you want to be bumped up the list, now would be the time to tell us, and we'll escalate your call sign and name right up to the top of the list. So any stations wanting to be bumped up, please call now. Well, I think that's the first time no one's accepted the bump about that. It's pretty good. Well, it doesn't really matter. All right, well, if you're not on Ham Live, you don't see the net order. So, yeah, you're kind of missing out on that as well. So the order of the net is run on Ham Live because that essentially is our logging platform, as well as other things like we can exchange messages, photos, jokes. Sledging goes on sometimes. That's a new term, isn't it, for an old term? Anyway, so that's what tonight's topic's all about. Hopefully it's not too confusing. Next on the list is Clancy, VK4OZHUB. Over to you there, Clancy.
VK4NGA, VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec. Yeah, good evening all. Just drinking some Jim Beam. That's what I'm doing tonight. And as for the topic, well, I've got a Freestar Anywhere and VoIP extensions. And the only time I've used it was when my node died on me and it wasn't working properly and I couldn't connect to the hub. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for my hams over IT experience at corporate, who put me onto all this sort of stuff. So that's probably about it. I don't really have much more to add. I suppose the All-Star, in a way, is some form of VoIP, but and then we've got all the other computer programs you can use. But as for something that involves the phone, yeah, it's just those two extensions that I haven't really used, to be honest. So maybe I need to put them on my QRZ page and maybe we'll get random calls. Yeah, that's about it. I'll put it back here. VK4NGA, VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec.
VK4OZHUB and the Aussie Pub Net, VK4NGA returning. I just got delivered to me this beautiful plate of lasagna from the pub. Not really from the pub. Friday night's our lasagna night. So yeah, my grandson Cooper brought it over, so I am truly blessed. So in between overs, I'm going to try and eat that. Thanks, Clancy. Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, like, for example, if you have an all-star node, the last time I spoke to a person about this was Fred, VK3FWR. Okay, so if you have an all-star node, an RF node, say, but then you tinker around with it and you change the settings and you enable the IAX side of it, then you can log in on your phone or pretty much a computer or whatever key you've set up with the VSwitch app, and you can log into your node and you can switch your node around and do what you like. And although it's coming out on RF at your place, you might be at your place. You might be like your IP, whether it be cellular or otherwise, it's all IP. You're coming in on IP, and your node is connected to IP to SvxLink. So essentially, that's a form of VoIP, which is exactly what Clancy was just talking about. I'll just have a short break. I might as well explain what I'm running early in the net so the net gets to hear it before we have people nod off because we go on for hours. So I'm running a NECU W2 Plus, which is what they call a POC radio that is push to talk over cellular. Has a SIM card in the back if you want. I don't. Mine's on Wi-Fi. It's essentially an Android phone, but weird. Looks like a radio. It's got a 4.3-inch screen, touch screen. I'm running DB Switch mobile app. It's an old version of Android because I've had this thing for years. It's got a PTT type microphone, so it feels like a real radio. But wait, there's more. It doesn't go into an all-star node because it's not RF. This thing is just either cellular or Wi-Fi. So my all-star node consists of a Raspberry Pi. That's it. Just a Raspberry Pi. No hats, no additions, just a Raspberry Pi. Oh, wait a sec, it's got a heatsink on it. It has an addition. Yeah. So that's what you're listening to me on. So I'm totally VoIP on the net. This is how I run the net every Friday night when I'm on. And I have RF running in the background. I have a node running. I have a radio ready. So in case this thing just, I don't know, turns its heels up because it's getting old. So that's my redundancy program. But essentially, you're listening to me direct into the network. There is no RF involved in this particular transmission into the network. So that's what I'm running. So that's another version of VoIP. And the list goes on and on. So that's what tonight's about. Before I call in Isaac VK4OZHUB for his over, hang on a sec, there's messages flying here on Ham Line. Oh, there you go. So Andy VK3COE just put a note up about his new to All-Star and he's monitoring on repeater phone. So repeater phone, stand by, reset. So repeater phone's another VoIP thing. I'm not going to talk about that because somebody that runs repeater phones can talk about it. Alright, hang on, someone's keying up. Oh, this node's full duplex, so while I got the PTT down, you probably heard me say this 100 times already, I can hear what is going on. How good is that? Full duplex, like the phone. Anyway, before I call in VK4OZHUB, hold on, Isaac, put foot on the brake, stand by, we'll put the net in neutral, as we say, and we'll see if there's anybody wanting to check in. You got Glenn VK4NGA for this half hour as net controller. Anybody wanting to check in, please
Hi, Andreas.
call now.
883 Charlie Oscar Echo in Great Western Victoria. VK1JT listening.
That was VK2ROT. There's problems with ROT. The Sydney repeater. I think people might be trying to call in, but we're not getting audio. Just acknowledging two stations, VK3COE. G'day, Andy. Checked in and out was VK1JT. G'day, John. All right. So let's roll back up the list. And Isaac, you're running stuff on VoIP. I know that. So let's hear it. VK4OZHUB and the Aussie Pub Net, VK4NGA, go ahead.
I'm going to wait for that on the tail. All right, Glenn, good evening, I should say, to you and everyone else. Frank Clancy from the Sunshine Coast up here, and I think that's
if you're wondering, sort of like there used to be a ham. I've got to be very careful here. I keep getting ham VoIP and hams over IP mixed up, but it's not ham VoIP. Ham VoIP, I believe, is the All-Star, one of the versions of All-Star, which you can put in your All-Star note. Ham VoIP. Hams over IP, hang on. There, I got the right one in the end. So I've got 3 versions going on there. Hams over IP, that's what I'm running at the moment, and that's pretty much what everyone runs. Hang on, have I got it right? I don't know. Someone might correct me. I haven't switched my phone on for that long. I'm very rusty, as you can hear, Glenn. But anyway, one of the two, and yes, the States, there was one that was mainly focused in the States, handshake hotline, and they shut. I do remember that, and they were getting smaller, and it wasn't too many. I think ham VoIP was growing. Hams over IP. I'm sure it's hams over IP. They were growing, so but that's what I've got. I've just got that. It's interesting you mentioned there's a New Zealand one, Glenn. Yeah, ham VoIP. Brent just corrected me. It's ham VoIP. Is it ham VoIP? Handshake hotline. Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't hear about the New Zealand one, NZ, VoIP NZ, or whatever you said, Glenn. I hadn't heard about that one, so I might have to have a quick quiz at that. Yeah, no, it's all fine. But I haven't switched my phone on for such a long time. I used to use it to check into the welfare nets, and I really haven't had the chance to. And the phone, when I did the shack, I moved everything in the shack, I cleaned the shack up. I don't have room for it here, so I've got to sort something out. But the bench is just chock-full of stuff. So one day I'll have a clean shack, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Anyway, but I have to switch it up sometime again and get it up and running and see if someone's left me a message. But anyway, all right. Vacuum the shack, yeah. Probably does need a vacuum too. The problem is there's all these screws and everything and resistors that might end up in the vacuum as well. All right. Anyway, back over to you, Glenn. VK4NGA, thanks for doing it. VK4IKZ. I won't be around for the second round too. I've got to get going. Oh, and the other thing I quickly want to throw in, I went to switch on ABC News and watch the news at 7 o'clock, and it seems it's moved to 7:30. So it's an interesting thing. It's almost 7 o'clock here for us in Queensland. For those people that watch the box. All right, cheers, Glenn. Back over to you, VK4NGA, VK4IKZ.
VK4OZHUB, the Aussie Pub Net, VK4NGA returning. Thanks there, Isaac. Yeah, the good old VoIP phone. Okay, so yeah, you can pick them up pretty cheap. Old Cisco's. I picked up an old Cisco on eBay or somewhere for about $30. Had to make a power supply for it. They're on 5 volts, so it wasn't a problem. Plug them into Ethernet. They're not Wi-Fi, the old ones. And hook it up to handshake hotline. The other one I did mention, Isaac, is NZSIP, NZSIP. I think Phil ZL2RO and a bunch of guys have got that happening. I am on it, but I'm at Woodford at the moment, and the phone's at home, so I can't tell you. So I have handshake, hams over IP, and NZSIP. So we should talk more about that, but I'll just throw in a little bit about it, and then the group can talk more about it. I'm sure other people are running it. So the idea of the VoIP phone is, one, they're cheap, the old ones. Two, they're easy to configure. Usually the hams over IP guys will send you a config file I'll isolate it or give you some instructions quite simply. And 3 is a lot of fun because you can monitor all sorts of things. Like often I'll be home and I'll dial up, say, one of the big hubs or nodes over maybe in the UK, the USA, for example, East Coast Reflector 9050, where I'll just be listening on that on the phone because it's just another gadget to listen on. You can actually talk on it too, and the audio is pretty good because it's a phone. So yeah, that's what we're on about when we talk about VoIP phones. So of course, almost all. I'll just reset. Of course, almost all businesses these days use voice over IP telephones. So wherever you go, you'll see them. And if you haven't already had an eyeball of them, have a look at them. Some of them have got fancy screens and all sorts of great stuff. One of my son's business, he uses the SvxLink ones. They got a nice little digital screen and colours and yeah, pretty good. So not bad. So let me just have a look. I've got a message here. I better read it because it could be important to the net. I'm still... Okay. All right. Cool. I'm still here. I'll just reset. We are going to have a net control changeover. We've got a net control hang on, let me just read this message, make sure I don't misread it. Okay, so net control is going to be handed over to Brent, VK4OZHUB, so just hang on while I do that on Ham Live. Before we call in Dale, VK7DG. Hold on, Dale. Get the foot on the brake pedal. Not long now. I'm just going to type in some stuff with one finger because that's how it's done when you're my age. I'll leave that and remembered it. Okay, so now if you're on Ham Live, you'll see net control is now Brent, VK4OZHUB. Thanks, mate, for jumping in on net control. But if his children cause him to be distracted, then Clancy may jump in as well. So we'll see what happens. All right, so that's enough from me. The next half hour will be Brent, VK4OZHUB. Thanks very much, Brent. Over to you.
Yeah, VK4OZHUB in the group. This is VK4OZHUB for the Aussie Pub Net. Net control for the next 30 minutes or until interrupted. And in the interest of the topic, I'm coming in on my handover IP
And that's how I do it. If I can't do it direct with DV switch, I go via the node at home, which I can usually get into. And that's my VoIP connector phone. I have been looking at SIP lately. My employer, ex-employer, had voice over IP phones. They were fairly early adopters on the system or so, and this is one of their older systems. I can't think of the name of it now, but it's a well-known phone system. And I'm inquiring about getting hold of one of their old phones. So I'm going to give SIP a try. VK4BNT, VK7 incidentally, I'm drinking a cold cup of tea at the moment. It's gone cold on me. VK4BNT and VK7 got a golf.
Yeah, VK7DG. This is VK4BNT returning. Yeah, no, DV switch is another one that I use quite regularly. I actually need to reconfigure that. Recently, the cloud node that I use, the IP address changed and broke all of my credentials, so I need to put in a new AS username to control that. But yeah, no, DV switch is a nice service. And DroidStar, I want to do a bit more research on DroidStar because it's got an IAX mode as well. If I can get DroidStar to work, I might use DroidStar for everything, so then I've got one app instead of two. But that's for another day playing around. Next up we've got Mark. Dale, if you do need any assistance with getting Instant to work, just let me know. I've actually got two of my own VoIP bridges at the moment as well. So I've got a bridge with hands over IP.
Anybody on NWAG at the moment? You try maybe.
All-Star, and then I've got a one with Freestar. So in addition to my extension, I've got a All-Star bridge as well. So I can kind of use my
You're welcome.
to
Back to the net. Bye for now.
two different All-Star networks. If they don't already have an existing bridge themselves. So it's fun to play around with. Anyway, Mark, VK3 MGF. This is VK4BNT. What do you do with voice? VK4, Bravo, November, Tango. This is VK3, Mike Golf Footfoot. Good evening to the Aussie Pub Net participants. Great to see a great list there on handheld live, and also getting some voices there in the distance. Fantastic to hear. Well, all I use is SvxLink. That's the only one. And here we are, thinking of all these others I've seen there piping up there on handheld live. All these other systems, the granddaddy of them all, the one we forgot, the one that started it all back in the day. It's 23 years ago, 2003. What about Skype? That's where it's all stemmed from. That's how it's all happened. Look what's happened now. So good old Skype, which I think has just fallen off the perch a little while ago, was out there pretty much starting the whole damn thing. So yeah, no matter what you use, there's that one day where the old power supply, the old radio back there in the back blocks of the shed or whatever the case may, and that antenna may have to come back out again. But SvxLink's been wonders for me just due to issues with me and mobility and whatnot, and it's, well, as they say, and radio in the back pocket, which it does defeat the purpose, but as long as we keep up the official protocol that we're all licensed for and with, and make it happy and fun, that's the main thing. So being able to keep in contact with the rest of the world in another form as we are, all being well. Back to you there, Brett, and we'll continue on listening. VK4 BNT and the group VK3 MGF.
Yeah, VK3 MGF. This is VK4 BNT returning for the Aussie Pub Net. There's certainly plenty of VoIP services out there. I use Discord pretty well daily, and use Google Meet most pretty much every day of the week as well. There's plenty of them out there. Back in the day, I used TeamSpeak and a few others. Certainly used Skype, but there was a few that I was using before Skype. I think MSN had their little VoIP service built into that as well, the messaging service. So that was another old service that I remember using. So there's plenty out there. And obviously tonight, as I mentioned before, I'm using my Cisco phone, which has got the 4 lines, which did not disturb since Clancy tried to call me while I was on it, but not to worry there. Anyway, next up we've got Rob, VK5TRM. This is VK4BNT. How are you using VoIP? Yeah, VK4BNT and the group, VK5TRM. Well, good evening to everyone on the net. Good morning to Chris, G4NAB. Good morning over there. Very good. I personally prefer to use RF wherever possible. I'm not trying to be a purist or anything like that, but there are times when you can't get access to RF, and I've got as far as that's I mainly use SvxLink sort of as my backup if I haven't got RF access. The node here on RF is SvxLink. So
soon as the city repeater gets its own node controller, the better. Yes, okay. Nothing to do directly with VoIP, but yeah, I've been using, I'll say, the very first SvxLink. I'm sure it was earlier than the 2002 because I certainly had a node operating in my middle to late part of my police service, and I retired in 2003. So there you go. So it's a case of what is VoIP? Is connecting two radios together with internet, voice over internet protocol, in which case I've been doing it for a long time. As for proprietary VoIP, no, I haven't got it, apart from the QSO-Link app. And Hamlink, its predecessor, which I've still got, and it still works, but it only does one talk group at a time. And the numerous apps that you have, Peanut and the like, so to which I do not subscribe. I'm in the same camp as Rob, VK4OZHUB, in that RF is key. Without the RF connections, VoIP's just like talking on the phone. So if it interfaces with radio, there's a bit of a leeway, I suppose, but great. And good to see that now the node monitor is showing over 70 nodes. I think about 6 or 7 people are signed in on the phone app at the moment, which is great. There are more things to talk about with SvxLink, but that's another time. But certainly it's I've put a couple of links up in the chat as we've gone along. I've written an awful lot about SvxLink, mainly because I've been doing it for years. But there you go. I'm going to wish everybody a good evening. I haven't even had coffee yet. That's my next stop. So I'm going to call it the day to the top of the hour and bid everybody a very good evening and pass it back to Net Control, G4NAB.
G4NAB, VK4OZHUB returning. Yeah, no, thanks for your input there. Yeah, there's definitely plenty of services out there these days that are connecting us hams over the internet. But the kids have come up now, so I will change Net Control a little bit early and hand over to Clancy. So I'll be sticking around once the kids are in bed, and I'll certainly be around for the 73 round. But for now, I'll hand it over to Clancy, VK4CTQ, VK4BNT. VK4BNT, VK4 Golf Quebec for the Aussie Pub Net. Alright everyone, I'm Net Controller, I assume, until 8:30, or the next 40 minutes, but I don't know. We'll see how we go. Next on the list is VK4ABN. Alan, good evening, mate. Topic is amateur radio and VoIP. Over to you.
VK4CGQ in the net. This is VK4ABN returning. Yeah, I don't know much about it, although I do use EchoLink on the very rare occasions. And I've used it for quite a while. There's nothing really wrong with it, but I just like the feel of a mic in my hand. But yeah, other than that, what I know about VoIP is about this. So that's pretty much all I can say. VK4CGQ in the group. This is VK4ABN.
VK4ABN, VK4 Golf Quebec, and the Aussie Pub Net.
worries, mate. Today, look, it's EchoLink definitely seems to be out of all the VoIP modes, I guess you could say, or VoIP ways to get into amateur radio, certainly the one that's used the most. Every repeater I've ever talked to seems to, use EchoLink, so it's fair enough. KM7BOP, good evening, Mark. Have you used any VoIP programs? Over to you.
Howdy from Las Vegas. Got a little bit of a weird voice, but I'm here. So, you got Telegram, you got WhatsApp, which I don't recommend you use. It's a Chinese spy program. Signal, it's encoded. Telegram and Signal are both encrypted. Zoom, as someone else mentioned. But in the early days, well, I got computers in like 1983 or something, I don't know, but about the late 90s, there was a program called ICQ. Maybe some of you remember that. I think ICQ eventually developed into Skype. I'm not quite sure. But ICQ was a pretty cool little program. And then when Skype came along, the early Skype, they had chat rooms. So I think the first chat rooms that ever existed, and the concept is now at ham radio, came out of Skype. And that used to be pretty cool because you could have people all over the planet talking in a single Skype room. But the only VoIP I use now, well, actually I use Zoom once in a while, and EchoLink as far as radio. All-Star, I don't have an All-Star radio, so I can't use that. So that's my comments. Hopefully that's bringing back some memories. And this is KM7BOP, Las Vegas. It's nice to be here. Thanks, you guys.
KM7BOP, VK4OZHUB. That's surprising to hear WhatsApp's Chinese spyware. I thought it was owned by Facebook, mate. So, it doesn't get any more American than that. But, choose your flavor, I suppose, when it comes to your spyware. VK2EX. This is VK4OZHUB and the Aussie Pub Net. VoIP and amateur radio is the topic tonight. Over to you.
Yeah, Roger, and VK2EX here. Yeah, well, wow, ICQ, I haven't heard that name for a long while. I kind of lost for words on that one. But I think one of the earlier things I started mucking around with, I've been with EchoLink for probably 20 more years, had a lot of fun with that, and I've just dismantled my EchoLink node just today and replaced it with an SvxLink Raspberry Pi. I pulled the little laptop out that I had running for probably 15 years continuously, and it's gone now into the cupboard and probably never come out again with all the little interfaces and everything on it. And now I've just got a little Pi Zero sitting there doing all the job. I've always run everything on RF. I prefer to run the RF side of it rather than to do like via the phone and all that sort of stuff. I do have the phone apps and things like that. The QSO link, I've got that going yesterday actually. But I think I prefer the VoIP or the RF side of it. I always found EchoLink more controllable. There was more functions available to you from the RF side. That's what I found anyhow. But over the years, I remember years ago, I used to use Skype a lot, and one time I had rigged it up with a proxy server through my EchoLink node, and I managed to get Skype to ring into my node, and it would auto answer, and I could use the Skype phone to activate my EchoLink with the DTMM tones and all that sort of stuff. And I remember one day going motorcycle mobile with that, and talking to a couple of blokes while I was driving along using a box system from the Skype phone, little Skype phone they used to sell. 3 used to sell things. They were great for that sort of stuff. And the free DV, I'll play with that, but that's not really VoIP over IP, so that's got nothing to do with WhatsApp. I play with Facebook Messenger now. Well, that's not ham radio related. So Zello is something that I've been introduced to. I have a friend over in the UK who's always trying out new things, and he thought about hooking that up to Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, but I've tried all sorts of things. As far as the VoIP at work, guys, they took all our phones off our desks, and now we've got to use headsets, and it never works properly. So phone calls are rather rare at work these days. So that's interesting, isn't it? It's easier just to mobile phone these days. But yeah, EchoLink's been the biggest thing for me. I've had a ball with EchoLink over the years, run it for many years, and as I said, just recently switched over to SvxLink with the help of G4 and GA and all, G4 Chris, I should say, yeah. And he's been the helpful player, and what the work them guys have done has just been fantastic. Anyhow, I hand it over to everybody else. Back over to Net Control. This is VK4OZHUB in Dubbo.
VK2EX, VK4 Golf Quebec for the Aussie Pub Net. No worries. Give me a sign off to close the I'm not sure what that means, mate. But VK3 HJQ, I believe, wanted to have a quick over. So go ahead, mate.
Okay, got this thing working. VK4OZHUB. Can't hear myself coming back because I turned the other computer down. Anyway, this is an absolute ripper. And Paul, unreal. I thought you were SK. Obviously not. You're still working in Dubbo. Wow, there you go. Anyway, looks like I got this down. I don't know, I just reloaded it again, put in the same settings, and now it's working. Don't know what I did different. Anyway, fantastic. And I love this app. Wow, it's got lots of goodies in it to play with. But thanks for letting me in. VK4OZHUB back to Nat. Hope the audio's okay.
4 November, Alpha, Bravo. The time is 10.
VK3, HJQ, VK4, Charlie Golf Quebec. And okay, no worries, mate. Your audio sounded good. And to Chris G4NAB, thanks for joining us on the live stream. I'm streaming VK4 Charlie Golf Quebec, the Aussie Pub Net. If you want to swap over. So thanks for the UK people for joining in on us on the Aussie Pub Net on the YouTubes. Alright, we got VK2HAO Ian. Good evening, mate. Have you done anything with VoIP? Over to you.
Right, let's sign off on that. Let's shut that down. That's a good hour on the Aussie Pub Net. Great to all the net controllers. The latter part you've seen my dashboard for MB5HT, the UHF repeater installed here, of which there are many up and down the country, in the Midlands, Oxfordshire, and in East Sussex. So many more nets to follow, hopefully. And thank you for watching. I'll have to say goodbye for now.